What's going on, guys? Aggronix, and welcome back to another ACL Pokemon League video. Today we have some sad news. We have some deaths to the squad. More deaths. My god, more deaths. Not real deaths, but we have made some changes to our roster, and these effects will take effect immediately. So starting next week with our game against AMF, we're going to have 4 brand new mons. Not necessarily I'm going to bring them, but I'm just saying 4 mons will be different on our roster from last week, which if you haven't checked out our battle against Hitmontop guy, go check it out. I think you'll like it. It was a pretty good game. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this in 2 phases. I'm gonna show you the mons that I've dropped, reveal them to you, and then I'm gonna show you the mons that I've picked up for them and the reasons I did it. There's one big reason the reason that I wanted to make these changes, and one trade and one change just followed the rest. So I'll get into that in a second. So if you guys are excited to see what our new mons are, make sure to heavy slam the like button down below first and subscribe if you are not already to become a member of the Aggronix. Now, it's week 3. We are 2-1, which is pretty good, +5. So we're doing pretty well. 2 wins, 1 loss. Going into week 4 against AMF. Us playing AMF has nothing to do with this. I'm just giving you a little bit of context on where we are in the league right now. We're doing pretty well. We're actually top of our division because, unfortunately, Alfonso forfeited against AMF, which means AMF only won 3-0, which I think that would have been a close game anyway, so I'm not sure if it really matters. But right now, we are first. 100%, we are first. Now, what that means is there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure to keep the first place spot. I'd much rather be in second and try to chase this, the top spot, but we can't all fucking choose our lives. By the way, my internet is actually down at the moment, which is hilarious because it always dies when I record. Is that just me? I literally was like, okay, I'm gonna make the trades. I made the trades. I was like, alright, I'm gonna make the video now, and then my internet dies. It's just so funny. It's just the funniest. But going into week 4, there are a few things I've noticed about my team that I don't really like. First of all, I am actually my trades don't fix that. Fuck it. I am a little bit weak to ground. My team is a bit slow. That's the big one. My team is pretty slow. And I don't have the best wall breakers. If you don't know, my wall breakers right now are Staraptor, Magnezone, Salazzle. Those are fantastic wall breakers. I'm not saying they're not. Especially Staraptor and Magnezone. However, they don't really have the best synergy. They don't really mesh well together. And none of them are bulky at all. Which means I'm always horribly afraid of switching them in on an attack. If you watch my game against Alfonso, we had Salazzle and that whole game, and Salazzle quad resists Aromatisse Moonblast. It takes literally like 10%, and I was still afraid of switching it in because if he went for a move or he swapped out, I was completely fucked because Salazzle has no bulk. But not just Salazzle, also Staraptor has very, very little bulk unless you run Intimidate, which you never would because Reckless is so much better for it. And Magnezone is a 4 times weakness to ground, which Staraptor doesn't really help because Staraptor, even though actually Salazzle and Magnezone, they're both quad weak to ground, and Staraptor being my flying type doesn't help me because it's so frail, and I'm always going to be afraid of switching it in. So those are the mons I dropped. The last mon I dropped was Alolan Exeggutor because the mons that I picked up were quite fast. I didn't really have a need for Trick Room anymore. I didn't ever bring it, which sucks because I do think Alolan Exeggutor is good, but it's quite quad weakness to ice. Just I was always afraid of bringing it just because it was like, oh, he just dies. Although the mon that we dropped for also has a quad weakness, but it's fine. So these are the mons that we've dropped: Salazzle, Staraptor, Magnezone, and Alolan Exeggutor. Once I click the undo delete button, it'll show you the 4 mons we picked up for it. So like I said, speed was a huge thing, and the mon that I hated the most was Magnezone. Not because Magnezone is bad, because if Magnezone was base 70 or 80 speed, it'd be so good. But it's just a little bit too slow to really take advantage of stuff. You have to run Choice Scarf most weeks, and a lot of steel types get ground coverage, so its Magnet Pull isn't really very, effective, which is one of the reasons I drafted it. And also the 4 times weakness to ground isn't great, and stuff like that. I'm also a bit weak to Fairy, I've noticed, except for Steelix and Magnezone, which I've just dropped Magnezone and Salazzle. You can pretty much just spam Fairy moves against me. This kind of mends that a little bit. You know, instead of having 2 resistances to fairy, now I have 3 with the mons that I've got, which is nice. And the only types that I've lost a normal, a dragon, and a grass type, because the Lone Executor I did not pick up a dragon or a grass type. I completely ditched those types, but I did get a poison type back, I got a fire type back, I got an electric type back, I got a steel type back, and I also got an extra rock type. So yeah, the 4 mons that we picked up are from tier 2, tier 2, yeah, tier 2, 2 tier 2s, a tier 3, and a tier 5. And those mons are Entei, Crobat, Raikou, and Aggron. So yeah, really excited. Now, as you can see, the types kind of jump back and forth. I was actually going to draft Crobat in the first place, but I had Salazzle, and Salazzle was really the only fire type that I saw that really fit the team because I needed to get Staraptor. Looking back, I should have got Entei and Crobat in the first place. Why I didn't? I wanted a grounded poison type for Toxic Spikes, but then I realized it's poison. Toxic Spikes don't really matter that much. They're not a huge deal. I wanted a fast electric type, like I said, because Magnezone was an issue. I traded Galactic, my Magnezone, which is great for him, I think, actually, because Galactic didn't have a steel type, so Magnezone fits into his team perfectly. It's really good for him. And he already has a Mega Lopunny, so he has a super fast mon anyway. He doesn't need Raikou. Raikou, for me, though, gives me a really fast electric type. Great Volt Switch core with Crobat and Raikou. That's a really solid core, because if you come in on an attack, Raikou and Crobat, unless it's super effective, they will live because they are naturally bulky mons, you know? Aggron was a bit of a meme. Even Aggron was the last pick I made. I actually made the Aggron trade, or pickup, about an hour after the other 3, because I was so back and forth about whether I should pick up Aggron, and I eventually just went, fuck it, just pick Aggron, and I did. So there it is there. Like I said, we lose a Choice Specs Destroyer, but we pick up a Head Smasher, which is nice, which we don't have on the team. Tyranitar is our rock type, so we have 2 rock types. The reason I wanted to pick up Aggron is because dropping Magnezone means that Steelix is our only steel type, which is not an issue, but I just like to have options. Also, Aggron gives us another Stealth Rocker, so we now have 4 Stealth Rockers on the team, which I think is perfect. I think 4, like 3 is good, but I think 4 is absolutely perfect. That's all you need. And also, it's a Sand team, so Aggron has more Spadef now with his typing, which is cool, because he's a rock type, stuff like that. And our speed tiers are helped as well. Aggron and Lone Executor. Aggron is faster technically than Lone Executor. Lone Executor is 45, Aggron's 50, so there's a small bit there. But Aggron is more of a wall breaker. That's not what I'm talking about. Entei, base 100. Raikou, base 115. Crobat, base 130. Those are perfect speed tiers. Base 130 mon being the fastest mon in your team, for me, is absolutely perfect. There's no need to go any faster than that unless you have a Mega, like Mega Beedrill or Mega Alakazam or something like that. 130 is completely acceptable as your fastest mon, and I think it's great. So I'm really happy about Crobat. Also, Crobat gives us a Defogger, which is cool. It gives us Taunt, which we did have on Salazzle, but I'm pretty sure Salazzle gets Taunt. I am almost 100% sure it does get Taunt, and I think a Lone Executor did as well, if I'm not mistaken. No, it didn't. We do lose Wish, but come on, let's be honest. I was never going to use a Lone Executor as a bulky mon, because its defenses aren't amazing. It's 95, 85, 75, I think, in HP defense, special defense, respectively. So it's not bad, but it's just, you know, it's not great. Also, it's weak to Poison, Dragon, Fairy, Ice. Fucking you name it, flying as well, Jesus. And yeah, the typings, I think that they mesh so well together. Now, like I said, we have 2 quad weaknesses, 4, and now we have another quad weakness and 2 mons weak to it. That's okay, because now my immunity to ground is Crobat, which is awesome, and Crobat's really good. And Crobat also resists fighting, which is cool, which means we were a little bit weak to fighting as well, except for Finny and Latias, which I guess will wall any fighting type. But you know what I mean? Now Crobat is like, great. And yeah, so we got Aggron as a amazing wall breaker, possible stealth rocker, rock polish sweeper. Boys, we're going to do that one week. We got Raikou as a choice spec sweeper. Raikou, the reason I like Raikou over Magnezone as well, even though the sprites aren't loaded, which is, actually, I can do this. Yes, because they were... Oh, wait. Entei is going to be a content, not load. Raikou's here, though. Raikou's here with The reason I like Crobat or Raikou a lot more than Magnezone is because its coverage is just much better. If you take a look at Magnezone, hopefully I don't think the sprite will be there. Oh, it is. Nice. It has electric, it has steel, it has signal beam, and then it just has a lot of hidden powers. And I guess as well tri attack, which means Magnezone isn't really tough to wall. Even though it does hit so hard, it is kind of easy to wall. Raikou has a little bit more options. It gets Aura Sphere, it gets extra sensory, obviously it gets electric type moves, it gets Shadow Ball as well. So it just has a few more things to play around with. Not a whole lot more, but it's just a little bit more. And, you know, we lose an offensive steel type, but we gain one in Aggron. So I feel like Raikou not having access to like Flash Cannon and stuff like that isn't the... Actually, it does have Iron Head. It does have Iron Head. But I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world. Raikou also gives us a Calm Mind user, which I don't think we have other than Latias, which Latias won us a game against Afonso with Calm Mind. We swept him with a Calm Mind Latias. So that could only be good. Crobat is great, gives us a Defogger, a U-Turner, Taunter, like I said, Natural Bulk, so I can run Roost. I can run Physical or Special, which is great. Its special attack isn't great, but if I run Nasty Plot, it really bumps it up. Watch A-Drive if you want proof of that. Crobat with Nasty Plot. Nasty Bat is a real thing. It's really good. And it's just a lot of fun. And Entei is the one I'm also really looking forward to, because I've never used Entei in the Draft League, but I've always used it whenever we do a quick draft. I almost always draft Entei because I just love it so much. I think it's such an underrated mon. I love Extreme Speed. I use Extreme Speed all the time with Zygarde in the Elysian, and we won that season. And I love Dragonite with Extreme Speed, so Entei with Extreme Speed just makes a lot of sense to me. Entei's coverage is great as a fire type. It doesn't have Wild Charge, but I think it really makes up for that in stuff like Stone Edge and Iron Head, meaning it's not walled by bulky fire types like Arcanine and Rotom Heat. And it also gets Iron Head, which is great for stuff like bulky fairies like Sylveon or whatever. So Entei is really good. Also, Extreme Speed is the best move in the game, along with, you know, Flare Blitz, Sacred Fire, stuff like that. And again, like Crobat, it can go physical or special. You know, 90 special attack is okay. And I don't know if I said this, Entei is one of my Z-mons, which means Entei is gonna fucking wreck shit. That was another thing I didn't really like about Magnezone. I feel like I made a mistake when I chose him. Magnezone really shouldn't be a Z-mon, and I think everyone said to me that was a great pick for a Z-mon. And I guess it kind of is, because you get off one huge hit, but it really doesn't help Magnezone. Magnezone needs to run a Sugar Berry, or it needs to run an Assault Vest, or it needs to run a Choice Scarf. Or even maybe needs to run a Choice Specs to do anything worthwhile. And if you're running a Z-Crystal, you know... And there was never a week where I even considered Magnezone as a Z-Crystal mon, because either it was too slow to run it, or I wasn't going to bring it at all. So, see, and like the 2 weeks that I brought Magnezone, I'm going to check. I brought Magnezone week 1, but that team's gone. I brought Magnezone Choice Scarf both times that I brought it, so that'll show you. That'll just go to show you, like, how little faith I had in Magnezone to do, you know, anything if it wasn't Choice Scarf. So, yeah, those are the pickups. I'm really excited for it. Entei being a Z-mon over Magnezone will be so much more fun. You know, Z Fire move, Z Rock move, Z Iron move, Ghost DMZ with Shadow Ball. You can do so many different things. It has Stomping Tantrum now as well. I don't think I said that, which means that it doesn't have Earthquake, but it basically has Earthquake, is what I'm saying. It basically has Earthquake, which is fucking awesome. Also, Z Solar Beam is great. Z Sunny Day is great. There's just so many options with Entei. So, yeah, I'm way into these picks. I am super excited. We have the Dog Core. We got Aggron, the meme, the Head Smasher. And then we got Crobat, our boy, here as well. Really happy with these picks. I'm super excited for the weeks to come. This week, like I said, we do play Amph. Don't be surprised if they don't show off these mons. Don't be surprised if they don't. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but I am really excited to use these mons. And I'm looking forward to the season ahead. If you guys are excited for more battles to come, make sure to heavy slam the like button down below first and subscribe if you are not already to become a member of the Aggronix. Like or dislike down below. Dislike if you don't like these picks, if you wish I kept them on. I mean, I liked Staraptor, I liked Salazzle, but I really didn't want Magnezone, and I felt that getting these with it just made so much sense. So, I really like the picks, and I'm looking forward to using it. That being said, have yourselves a wonderful day, and bye-bye.